Since we can't get Congress to help fundamentally change the immigration law to strengthen the system and the framework, we're using the existing law in the books in innovative ways to place additional layers where we can have integrity in that process and repatriate people that don't have a valid claim to stay in the United States. So this recent Supreme Court ruling gives us another tool to address the asylum problem and the weaknesses in our asylum system that have been inviting this flow over time.
All right, so that's Acting Homeland Security Secretary Kevin McAleenan touting a big legal victory for President Trump, the Supreme Court allowing the government to deny asylum requests from migrants who travel through other countries but did not seek asylum there before coming to the U.S. Let's bring in our legal panel to discuss this. Rachel Self is a trial and immigration attorney, and Jenna Ellis-Reeves, a constitutional law attorney and advisory board member for President Trump's re-election campaign. Nice to have you both, and I am going to start with you, Rachel, on this one. So do you agree or disagree with the workaround around Congress or congressional gridlock and the 9th District and relying on a Supreme Court assist to ban asylum for anyone trying to enter the U.S., again, without first seeking asylum in the country through which they traveled, without first seeking asylum there in that country, I mean, in that third country? Does that sound right to you?
No, it definitely doesn't, and here's why. Anybody who is not concerned with this decision that came down from the Supreme Court, which is just a stay decision, it's not a decision on the merits, but it's a stay, should be very concerned with the decision because it gives unchecked power to the executive with regard to this issue. And unchecked power to the executive with regard to any issue or unchecked power to any government branch on any issue is a very slippery slope and a dangerous thing. We have one country which we recognize as a safe third-party country under our laws, which Congress enacted, and that's Canada. To now say that Mexico is a safe third-party country when it's the same country that our very president indicated was so dangerous and was filled with rapists and drug traffickers and murderers is simply very disingenuous, and it's not a solution to the humanitarian crisis that's going on at the border.
All right, Jenna, how do you see it?
Well, Rachel's right that this is not a decision on the merits, and so it's a great day when I can agree with Justice Kagan that she's staying within the constitutional margins here. And she's exactly correct to overturn what was really a judicial overreach that was a nationwide injunction. So, but I do believe that the Trump administration will prevail on the merits, and here's why. Asylum, let's remember, is not ever intended to actually be immigration. The purpose for asylum is to make sure that anyone who is coming from severe persecution that qualifies to leave their country and seek a safe haven will be repatriated eventually. And so the logic follows that if they are traveling through a third country where they can seek that safe haven, they can seek refuge there, why can they intend to come to the United States? We have so many instances that are already on the record of bogus asylum claims. And for people who intend to come here for the purpose of immigration when they are flouting and they're circumventing asylum laws. So this isn't an overreach, and this isn't unchecked power.
So you feel that it kind of slows down anybody who's kind of doing, anyone on the other side of that fence trying, no pun intended, trying to do a run around our laws here?
Absolutely. And I wrote a piece just a couple months ago for the Washington Examiner talking about how the asylum process in the United States has been abused. We are a nation that absolutely believes in legal immigration, but we don't want to have anyone from another country come in illegally, and we also don't want them to override the laws that are on the books or seek those types of loopholes. And so for the Trump administration to simply enforce constitutionally. Absolutely it is. And so there are still asylum claims that can be, that absolutely can have claimants that are for the proper and intended purpose. This is going to close a loophole by not allowing people to target the United States when they can seek safe haven in a third country.
But the issue is the only person empowered to determine who is that safe third country is Congress. It's not the executive. And so right now, over many, many decades that we've had asylum law in this country, we've determined there is one safe country that could be a safe third-party country, and that is Canada. And until Congress creates other safe third-party countries, we can't just willy-nilly determine that Mexico and Guatemala are now safe third-party countries when they're not. And so this is something that needs to be thoroughly evaluated. And the bottom line line is this: asylum is legal in this country. It is the laws on our books. So to suggest that it is illegal to come here seeking asylum when you're fleeing persecution is simply not true, and it's simply not what our law is.
Let me clarify. That's not what I said, Rachel. What I said was that there are people who will come and seek asylum wrongfully and illegally. Of course, for the people that do seek asylum under the law and they are granted asylum when their claims check out, of course we have asylum on the books, and that's for that reason.
Except for now we don't, because now with this Supreme Court stay,
who are
a lot of people aren't allowed to
one at a
seek
time.
asylum anymore.
Wait a minute. Finish your thought, Jenna, and then Rachel, I'll let you jump in.
And thank you, Arthel.
Thank you.
So the point here is that there are people who are seeking asylum as a method, as a loophole. And so if Congress wants to change that law, they absolutely can. But what they can't do is overstep and allow the executive not to have their proper law enforcement mechanism,
Rachel,
which is absolutely the law here.
Give me 20 seconds, Rachel.
And the problem here is now a lot of people who are fleeing for their lives and seeking safe haven, which our laws allow them to do, are going to not have a forum in which to do it, are not going to have the due process in which to do it. And to allow the executive to go unchecked with this power sets forth a very slippery slope, and it's something that ultimately is going to be dangerous moving forward. And we need to pay really close attention to that and keep our separation of powers in place.
Got to leave it there. Rachel Self,
it's
Jenna
not unchecked.
Ellis-Reeves, thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
It's very complicated.
Thank you.
We'll have you back on. We can pick it up from there. Thank you, guys.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.